Welcome to NSL Soccer presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. Thanks for joining us today on CBC Gem from York Lions Stadium in Toronto. I'm Signa Butler on play-by-play alongside former Canadian Youth International Jess Lisi for this second Battle of Ontario, with AFC Toronto hosting the visiting Ottawa Rapids FC. Hazy day outside, but it's going to be exciting action on the pitch. And let's take a look at some of the players to watch for Toronto. Shayna Ashuri, veteran up front, has been providing a lot of distribution as well.
I think Ashuri has been an absolute bright spot for this team. She brings the intensity that's needed on both sides of the ball. She plays a big leadership role. She's very active in getting the ball in the box for them. Her movement off the ball is fantastic. And she's just a player that does a lot of work, but doesn't necessarily get the recognition for it in stats. So I think this is a player that you have to keep an eye on her because she's absolutely lethal when you give her time and space.
Let's turn our attention to the Ottawa Rapid now. Defensively, we know about Desiree Scott in the midfield, but her partner in the midfield, Ellen Gibson, has also been solid this season.
I think it's easy to focus on the players who are scoring goals, but when you look at a player like Ellen Gibson, who's been so great for this Ottawa side in regards to keeping that structure and having that partnership alongside Scott, she has a high IQ. She's a big physical presence for them as well, and I think today it's going to be a fun midfield battle, so I'm excited to see her step up and what she brings to the pitch.
Well, 3 points are up for grabs for these two teams. They're close in the standings right now, and as we look at the NSL standings, and it's very close, 5 of the 6 teams within 3 points of each other. Obviously, 3 teams on top with 11 points, but AFC Toronto a chance today to move up to the top of the table.
I feel I keep repeating myself every time I see the standings for the NSL. You never know who's going to be on top in the next week, so that's what makes this so exciting and so competitive. So definitely curious to see how this goes and how this ends.
Well, the last time these two teams met was April 27th. Ottawa, the upper hand at TD Place with a 2-1 victory. We'll see what today's match has in full for us. Stay with us. The starting 11 straight ahead here on CBC Gem. You're watching the Northern Super League. Welcome back to NSL Soccer. The official York Lions Stadium is where we're at today, and the Ottawa Rapid FC visiting AFC Toronto. Let's take a look at your starting 11s for today's match, starting with the home side, AFC Toronto, and they've had a lot of attacking options up front, and we've seen them coming in on a 2-game win streak.
I think for me, one player that has really stood out, and I think that she's been consistent from game to game, but last matchup against Montreal, she really stood out. It was Pickett. I think Victoria Pickett is somebody that has so much ability. She has this ruthlessness and this mentality to just keep going forward, but also do the work that's needed on the other side of the ball. So she's definitely somebody that is a bright spot for them, and I'm excited to see her get on that back line today and cause some problems.
Well, another one that's been causing problems this season has been Shayna Ashuri, and we had a chance to catch up with her ahead of the match. Hi, Shayna. Thanks for joining us. You guys went into the international break on a high with 2 straight wins. How do you replicate that effort as a team today?
I think it's just a matter of staying true to our identity as a team, doing everything that we do day in and day out, and just building on the momentum that we've established now. And that's just come from us sticking to the game plan. So we're going to do that today.
Coach Marco has been complimentary about how you've performed this season and the leadership up front that you provide. What do you need to do today to help break down a tough defensive Ottawa form?
Yeah, so they play a lot like in a zone. So for us, it's about attacking quickly, playing what's on in the final third, and then just hoping that it connects. It's not going to connect every time, but hopefully we can really take advantage of the times that it does.
Thanks for this, Shayna. Enjoy the game today.
Thank you.
To the Ottawa Rapids starting 11 now. Two big changes from their 1-1 draw against Montreal. One is in goal. Melissa Dagenet seeing her first action of the season in relief of Molly Erickson. And Mina Lee unavailable for Ottawa today, so Julia Benatti earning time in the midfield.
I think this is a huge moment for Julia Benatti, her having to step up here. I think Mina's been a player that's really stepped up for this Ottawa side and her ability to live in those half spaces, and that's what we need from Benatti today. We'd love to see her be able to show her craftiness and her high IQ, live in those half spaces, get turned forward, and help create this attack for this Ottawa side.
Well, we're expecting a bit of a battle in the midfield, so for more on that, let's go to Ellen Gibson of Ottawa. I'm joined pitch side by Ellen Gibson. Ellen, we're 6 weeks into the season. We've seen this partnership emerging in the midfield with Desiree Scott and yourself. I'm just wondering, alongside her.
Desi is an amazing person and an amazing player. So her leadership inspires me and the whole team, and I'm privileged to play along her side.
AFC Toronto has shown they like getting numbers forward. What's your strategy as a defensive midfielder to minimize those threats?
I think today is about controlling the second balls, to be able to take control of the central part of the pitch. It's going to be a tough game. Two great teams play each other, but I'm excited for that challenge.
Thanks so much, Ellen. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Welcome back to our coverage of the Northern Super League on CBC Gem. And we've got a break right here. DB Pridham running through, scoring for Ottawa Rapid FC. So an early goal for the visitors. And DB Pridham was someone that Coach Marko Milanovic said that his team needed to be aware of.
She's somebody that has absolutely stepped up for this Ottawa side. We've seen her get on the board time and time again. There's a reason that she is the top goal scorer in the league right now. She's so capable, such a high IQ when she's approaching that 18. Here's another look at it. This is a great ball through. She times her run, and she's able to get that away. Potentially that's offside there.
Well, if it's offside, it's in the books as a goal. 5th goal of the season for DB Pridham, and AFC Toronto finds themselves in a hole early on in this match. And we apologize to our viewers for the technical difficulties off the top of the broadcast. We assure you we'll be back with you full time now. But just in time to see that goal from Ottawa's DB Pridham. So AFC Toronto in that familiar formation, the 3-4-3, as Sierra Cotillard kicks off. There is Gibson, who we talked about in the show off the back. Ottawa on the front foot. Forbes looking for Adamek, who's fresh off international duty with Poland. A lot of the international players coming back this week for Katrina Peterson's side on Wednesday. So some jet lag for some of the players. Desiree Scott heading forward. Pickett tried to lay it off. Gibson playing it quickly. Back to Gibson. Gibson with the strike. Stopped by Cotillard.
Gibson is a player we spoke about earlier in her ability to hold that structure and start the attack, but there she is showing her quality and ability to get forward as well in that combination play and get a shot off.
Well, the other dangerous forward that we're watching in this game, aside from DB Pridham, is Esther Okoronkwo, who just got called for a foul there, but Esther with 3 goals on the season, all of them bangers. Ottawa will keep her in check today. Liv Scott looking forward, finding Forbes. Barnett fouled by Adamek. That's a hard foul. 5 minutes into this match.
Looks like she might have got a bit of a Charlie horse.
Colby Barnett, who's been a real spark plug for AFC Toronto this season.
Another look at it here. She comes right across the top of her thigh there. It looks like she might have got a knee in the thigh. Hopefully it's not knee to knee there.
Training staff for AFC Toronto out to check on Barnett. 22-year-old from Los Alamitos, California. Adamek, the culprit on that foul.
One thing you know you're getting from Adamek time and time again when she goes into tackles is that intensity. She's very good at timing them usually. She just looks like she might have been a little late to that and connected with Barnett a little more than she had planned.
Barnett is one of those players that Marko Milanovic says you can tell when she's not there. She just has an incredible personality, work ethic, and just the quality that she brings in training and from game to game.
And we've definitely seen that on full display with her abilities in these games, end line to end line constantly.
Regan on the ball, trying to curl it in. Desiree Scott heads it away. Not quite out of danger. Downing headed it back in. Small bumped, was looking for a foul. Ottawa does well to play out of small spaces there. Mullins looking up for Okoronkwo. Okoronkwo kicked away by Adamek. And Barnett is back on the pitch. Kazaki. The left-footed cross in the box. Looking for Small. And Heiji manages to get a tackle in against Melanie Forbes.
I think one thing that's really exciting about the matchup between these two teams is we've seen them both grow in each game closer into their identity, and we see them both have that ability to create variety in attack, whether that's building through the back and finding a player like Emma Regan for Toronto, or finding a Desiree Scott or a Gibson for Ottawa and being able to spray that out wide, get balls in the box, whether it's a long ball from a Jalissa Harris, as we've seen in the last matchup, her ability to find Pridham on the run. It's just constantly a variety in both of these teams' attacks, and that's what makes them so unpredictable and so fun to watch.
Pickett. Shuri back to Pickett. FC Toronto patiently. Pickett against Harris. Ashuri trying to give and go with Kazaki. And Cotillard off her line.
One thing that Coach Peterson mentioned to us too, Signa, was Toronto's ability to get numbers forward and how they want constant numbers on their back line, excuse me. And I think that their interchange is what makes them so dangerous. You see just there in that play, Ashuri and Pickett having a bit of combination play, being able to recognize one's inside, one's outside. They have such great movement off the ball, and that makes it very difficult to be able to track your players.
Forbes to Scott, the switch in play. All the way back to Dagenet. Okoronkwo. Swept away by Scott. And out to Dagenet. Dagenet, the 6-foot keeper who's been waiting in the wings. Molly Erickson's been so good this season. But Coach Peterson saying, hey, I've got two great goalkeepers. And we probably would see a rotation in the course of the next 8 days, because Ottawa does have 3 matches in 8 days. And Coach Peterson saying that, you know, Dagenet, who's been a Canadian national team call-up before back in 2023, is shown herself in training. It's not any case of not being good enough. It's just they've got 2 good options.
I think that's a great problem to have.
Adamek will take the throw back. Came in as a substitute for Poland in a 4-0 win over Northern Ireland and a 3-0 win over Romania. Now with 21 caps for Poland. And these teams train throughout the international window, obviously losing a few players here and there, but a teeny bit of time off, and then it was a lot of individual work, a lot of just regular training schedule. Regan gets it back to Rollins. Heiji under pressure. Small closed down quickly by Chu. And Small will be a player that Ottawa will be aware of. 3 assists on the season for Nikayla Small.
She has been a very active presence for this Toronto side. I think every single matchup you walk away talking about her because she's somebody that showcases her ability to go 1v1, but her IQ is so high that she's constantly finding the space and creating opportunities for her teammates, whether that's when she's on the ball and making that final pass or she's just simply getting out of space and drawing defenders with her.
Scott shielding and turning. Finding Benatti.
You see Pridham there telling her to take her space. There's so much time and space in front of her. It's very difficult for Pridham to be able to get in behind that with a back three that's quite solid in their structure and just holding and dropping.
Okoronkwo turning. Looking for Kazaki. And Adamak will come in with a slide tackle. But Toronto moving the ball well here. Looking for an equalizer. Cathro pops that too far out of bounds. Regan. Small, a nice turn. And looking for that breaking pass forward. Ashuri wins it back. Barnett. Barnett trying to curl something in. What a strike that is by Victoria Pickett. One time, just over the bar.
We've seen this Toronto side time and time again utilize their ability to get the ball in the box. Barnett does so well here to look up and get that ball in. She whips it across, and Pickett's timing to be able to get there and redirect it towards goal is great. She just wasn't able to get her foot around it quite as well as she would have liked to hit it on frame, but that is what this Toronto side needs. They need to ignite their attack because we've seen them and what they can do when those final pieces come together.
Barnett, another cross in. Cleared away by Harris. So Toronto now on the front foot, 15 minutes into this match. Barnett with the Meg through Desiree Scott. That doesn't happen often.
I think I've seen a Meg every single matchup. We got to start tallying that.
Rollins to Heiji. Looking through to Pickett. Finds Small. Small threading it to Ashuri. Can't quite get there. Dagenet looking up, well won by Barnett. And on the attack, Ashuri! Oh, a glorious chance, and fires it over top of the bar. Okoronkwo, nice layoff play there.
It was a great win by Barnett. That shows the importance of winning that first ball and being able to use that second ball, as you see with Okoronkwo. What a great ball through. Ashuri just leaning back and getting under that. Definitely not the way she would have liked. I think she wants that one back, but potentially, you know, she gets one because this is a long game and we know that she's a player that is able to hit those on frame.
Toronto pressing. Ottawa manages to get out of there. There's a foul called at midfield. Ball given away nearly to DB Pridham. And as we saw off the top, less than 5 minutes into the game, she does not need any time to make things happen, scoring her 5th goal of the season. Marko Milanovic, pleased with the way that his team entered the international break, coming off 2 wins, defeating Halifax 1-0, the 2-0 win over Montreal, and hoping to keep that win streak going here, but some work to do. Liv Scott moving forward. Chu. Headed away by Cathro. Not out of danger, Adamek. Chips it in, handled by Sierra Cotillard. Harris mistimes that, and it goes to Okoronkwo. Covered well by Gibson.
Thankfully, Gibson was able to recover there. That timing needs to be a little better from Harris because you do not want a player like Okoronkwo running at your back line 1v1. So definitely have to secure that a little better and figure that timing out.
Okoronkwo, the Nigerian international. Here's Chu. Laying it off to Downing. Downing gets it to Pridham. And a timely tackle by Cathro.
You're seeing the efficiency from this Ottawa attack, just their ability to spray that out wide, do the little combination play, and Downing not only sends that ball in, but she actually finds feet. Pridham's not able to get that directly on frame. It looks like it redirects off of a Toronto defender, but that combination play and those partnerships that we're starting to see form for this Ottawa attack is very exciting for them.
Chu and Scott, 2 of the players on international duty this past week. Obviously Desiree Scott, the farewell match in her hometown of Winnipeg. 188th cap of her career, was able to do that in front of friends and family, and she just said she's been so grateful for her career in a Canadian uniform. 3 Olympic medals, the Olympic champion in 2021. And just brought so much in that defensive midfield position, just kind of reshaped that position.
I was going to say she's grateful, but we're also all grateful for what she's done.
Miscommunication, and DB Pridham makes Toronto pay. A slow pass, a miscommunication, and it's 6 goals on the season for DB Pridham of the Ottawa Rapid.
This is where that preciseness and needing to be able to find feet, put the right amount of juice behind that ball. It looks like a miscommunication there, but Pridham makes no mistake to pounce on that and place it home. We know that she's so capable in and around that 18. She makes absolutely no mistake, places that like the pro that she is, calm, cool, collected, and very confident.
So AFC Toronto gathering each other together, saying, you know, after 20 minutes, this is not us, a 2-0 start, but DB Pridham does not need any time or space to make things happen. And it's 2-0 for the Ottawa Rapid.
This is also something we spoke about with Coach Milanovic. You know, that back 3, we've been seeing a lot of rotation amongst them. And I think that he mentioned to us that nobody's been lights out necessarily. And that communication aspect is huge. That needs to be better from Cotillard specifically. And I think from Heiji's point of view, you know, that's frustrating. She should have been able to read that and see that there wasn't enough juice behind that ball from Small. But Cotillard needs to be able to communicate that from the goalkeeper. You know, you need to be able to be vocal and sort of boss around your center back. So that communication aspect just needs to improve right now from this back line.
Cotillard, the 21-year-old keeper for AFC Toronto, filling in the last few matches for Sophia Manor, who's coming back from concussion protocol. Should be available soon. The Finnish goalkeeper. Barnett cutting back. And a foul on Forbes. Sheila Couture, the official for today's match, giving Melanie Forbes just a few words of advice. Couture, known for refereeing in both the NSL and the CPL. And it's Regan on the ball, so an opportunity here for AFC Toronto to get one back. Up over top. Looks like an offside called. The assistant today, Amanda Kwan.
We mentioned the high that Toronto's been, riding and going into that break. And I think that, this is frustrating to see them down 2 goals. I'm sure that they're frustrated with those 2 goals specifically and how they came about.
Okoronkwo now. Out for a throw-in.
But just to continue that thought, Signa, this is where the resilience needs to come in. And we've seen this Toronto side be resilient all season long. They weren't getting the results they wanted in the beginning. So I think it's a matter of keeping that mentality and just knowing this is a long game and doing what they do best and continuing to get forward and create those opportunities and find the clinical edge that's needed to be able to put them away.
You're watching the Northern Super League on CBC Gem, presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League, and it's a 2-0 lead for the Ottawa Rapid in town. They came in by bus yesterday, took that 4 to 5 hour drive down the 401 and seemed no worse for wear. They must have got the bus legs out and got off to a great start here. Both goals from DB Pridham. But AFC Toronto in front of their fans today aren't going to go down quietly.
What were you doing on those long bus rides, Signa? Were you sleeping? Were you on your phone? Were you listening to music?
Well, if I tell you how I listened to, I think I was listening to music on a CD player.
A CD player?
I don't think.
Okay, I've never had one of those.
Yes, aging myself here. Yeah, CD player and playing cards. Cards never gets old.
That's fair. That's a fair point. I was a sleeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta get that nap time in. Be ready for action. Coach Peterson said there was some laughter, but most people were getting a nap in because they had training right before they hopped on the bus. So maybe that extra nap time is paying off for this early lead. AFC Toronto has been battling a lot of injuries this season. They did get some bad news this week that Leah Pace out for the season. Sonia Walk out for the season as well with some knee issues. But some good news today. Jade Kovacevic, their first ever signing in NSL history, is available off the bench for the first time this season. So that is good news for a team that's been hit really badly with the injury bug. Of course, Amanda West going out with an ACL tear. Switch in play now. Small. Going 1v1 against Desi Scott, does well. The cross in, it's dangerous. Desjardins tried to get a hand on it, it went over her. Ottawa going the other way. Pridham finding Forbes. Forbes is going to chase that down. Does she have room? Melanie Forbes sliding it across, and that's 3. Stella Downing opens her account on the season.
We spoke about the quality that Pridham has to be able to finish the ball, but her ability to come off the front, turn, recognize that Forbes is all alone and has so much time and space, hit that switch ball. Here's another look at it. It's a great ball. Forbes does so well to get there. She continues to bomb forward. She could have won herself here, but she recognizes that Downing is also bombing forward, and she does so well to place that home. Again, coming up with pace, recognizes, head up, plays that great ball over, and Downing puts her body on the line there. You see her sliding on her knees to be able to finish that, making sure that is hitting the mesh.
Stella Downing, the 22-year-old from Vancouver, former Canadian Youth International. A shifty player, as Coach Peterson says. She's really hard to predict where she's going to go. Scores her first goal of the Northern Super League season.
She's also been such a spark plug for them, I would say, so it's great to see her get on the board. We've seen her do so much work getting up and down that flank, putting in those minutes defensively, putting her body on the line. So it's great to see a little reward for her and being able to get her name on the score sheet.
So 3-0 for the Ottawa Rapid on the road. Less than 30 minutes into this match. So full of confidence are the Rapid, but 3-0, we saw that earlier this week with Calgary leading 3-0 over the Halifax Tides. The Tides coming back and making it a 3-2 match. So we'll see what kind of stuff AFC Toronto has. Looking to pick it. Trying to find Regan. That's covered. Small. Back to Regan. Regan and Small. Small looking for her shot. Off the mark, but certainly Nikki Small has the license to shoot from anywhere.
Some hydration and it's a good sign though, Signa. Summer's here. Summer's coming.
30 minutes in, and this hydration break brought to you by Powerade. 25-degree day, a little hazy at York Lions Stadium. Also an opportunity, aside from hydration, just to get the tactics down for this team. The tactics going all the right ways for Ottawa Rapid right now. Coach Milanovic taking his team through what changes they might make right now. Some cooling cloths.
I think they just need a bit of a regroup right now. That we know they're a team that's very capable. We've seen them do it time and time again this year and create great opportunities and be able to finish them. But I think right now that final pass is sort of lacking. There isn't that clinical finish that's needed. And defensively, the communication aspect is just a little too easy. It seems like there is a bit of a disconnect. So I think it's just a matter of regrouping, getting your head on right, and coming out with the right mentality, which is difficult when you're down 3-0. But it's a matter of finishing this half strong and being able to head into that second half and potentially come out tied, winning it. You never really know. You can't count anyone out, I would say.
Not in this league, and not with some of the goals we've seen this season. Great crowd on hand at York Lions Stadium. Dagenet playing it out to the back. Lucky that's a goal kick, very nearly a corner. Adame playing through Scott. Back to Liv Scott.
The high pressure from Toronto is also something that's proven to be deadly for them. You see there, Scott's not left with very many options other than to get it out of the danger zone when someone like Victoria Pickett is right on you. You know she's pacey, you know she's shifty, she can make something happen.
Kazaki trying to make something happen for her team. The cross gets to Ashuri, but Chu will clear that away and make sure nothing comes of that. Small doubled up, earns the corner kick.
Nikki Small once again showing her mentality to go right to that final minute, in the sense of, you know, she wants to win something out of that. She's not able to get a cross in, she's not able to get a shot off or a pass. She's going to win a corner kick and create something for her team to potentially get on the board.
Barnett will have that in-swinger, that great left foot of hers. And in it comes, going to that far post, Dagenet. Big body and great hands.
It's a great recovery by her to be able to come out and win that, because those opportunities are dangerous. We've seen what set pieces can do for teams and have the ability to change the outcome of a game.
And the other way, Ottawa will earn a corner kick. Pickett was trying to play in, Sierra Cotillard couldn't make that happen, so out for a corner. 3-0 Ottawa lead, 10 minutes left in this opening half. Forbes, a nice cross in, headed away. Adamek working that left side. Harris with the quick throw. Some confusion whether this is a throw in or a corner, but it is a throw. Downing to Chu. Benatti with the cross, spilled by Cotillard. Foul called on DB Pridham on Heiji. Benatti.
You're seeing Ottawa continue to bring that intensity and that high press on this Toronto back line, and it's giving them issues even off of the clearance. Ottawa is there first, and I think that's where Toronto has to step up a little bit. Those first and second balls need to be won by them to be able to secure something and create an opportunity going forward.
Cathro and Barnett playing out of trouble. Nice bit of skill from Forbes there. Gibson will look to switch this back through Harris. Ball will go all the way back to Cotillard. Barnett finding the feet of Okoronkwo. Okoronkwo looking to curl the ball in, perhaps for Pickett.
Another thing that Coach Peterson mentioned to us on the call was that, you know, last time these two teams met, yes, they walked away with a win, but one thing she wanted from them was to improve on the recognition of when to attack and where to exploit. And we're seeing them really do that this matchup. They're making no mistake to be able to play the balls when they're on and play the combination plays. And more than anything, find that grit and that clinical finishing ability inside the 18-yard box.
Scott wins the ball from Pickett. Hey G, turn by Downing. Downing's on the go now. Was looking for Forbes, and that'll run out. Small patiently tucks it behind. Was looking for Pickett, picked off.
The midfield battle that we were so thrilled to be able to see, we're really seeing Scott and Gibson do well to be able to keep the ball under control for this Ottawa side and have that calmness that's needed to control the dynamic of the game. We're not seeing Regan get on the ball too much, and I think from Toronto's standpoint, it would be very helpful for her to get on the ball. We know that she's somebody that is a playmaker for them. She does well to control the dynamic and the rhythm in favor of them. So if they can find her feet and utilize her a little bit more, as well as small, I think that can really help them out, because right now Ottawa is doing a very good job at disrupting Toronto's build-up, but also having that calmness that's needed to be able to keep possession for them.
Forbes driving the ball to the far post, headed high and away by DB Pridham. A brace already for Pridham, 27-year-old, born in Saratoga, California, but has Canadian roots.
Seeing that leadership role from Emma Regan there.
Ottawa with the bulk of possession in this match so far, and Jess, would you say the possession has been direct? It hasn't just been, you know, circling the ball around the back. This is direct play.
Yeah, I think that they've found a lot of purpose in their possession right now. I think that's the biggest difference between these two sides. You're seeing them with that ability to be calm and play it around back when necessary, but they're also doing really well to create dangerous opportunities with it. It's the combination play. We're seeing time and time again a dangerous opportunity be created, whether it's a long ball. So there's a lot of that variety that we spoke about earlier, Signa, from this Ottawa side, and it's not just, you know, giving them that stat because they're playing it around the back. It's definitely not that.
Giveaway at midfield as well. One back by Regan. Barnett playing in Regan, who went for a run. And Desiree Scott will clear that away. The two Canadian internationals who just joined forces in that series in Winnipeg and in Montreal. That's a foul. Small drawing the foul against Kayla Adamek. Gotta be careful. She's already had a tough tackle already on Colby Barnett earlier in the match. Great fan support for AFC Toronto, and they need it right now. Down 0-3 to Ottawa. But an opportunity here with a free kick deep in the Ottawa end.
This is a good opportunity for them. This is essentially a corner kick, and I think that this is where you can, you know, capitalize on it. You know, Regan has the ability to get this ball in.
Pops to that far post. Small Trying to get it in the box. Cleared away.
It's just a bit too overhit. Would have loved to see her drive that a little bit lower and a little bit closer inside into the middle of the box instead of going that back post route and a little bit too lofted.
Barnett. Back heel looking for Cathro. Tackled by Adamek. Just a little disjointed in the middle right now for AFC Toronto. Trying to find their rhythm. Everything was going right for them in their match against Montreal before the break. DB Pridham getting a card. Gesturing with her jersey that maybe there was a bit of tugging going on. Pridham in the books with the yellow card and in the books with the brace so far in this match. Pickett tried to touch it through to Okoronkwo and somehow Adamek got on it.
Adamek's a player that we've seen on both sides of the ball do a lot of things for this Ottawa side. We've seen her in more of a forward role and her ability to get forward, get balls in the box. But defensively, she's very good 1v1. She's very difficult to beat. She uses her physicality and her body well. Her timing is always on point, as you saw there. I'm not too sure how she got to that.
Cross well over. Waning minutes of this opening half. All Ottawa Rapids so far. Much to the dismay of Marko Milanovic and his staff. But they certainly have the talent to pull themselves back into this match. 45 minutes left to play and change. Okoronkwo. Plays it forward to herself. Edged off the ball by Adamek. Benatti. As we see 3 minutes of added time in this opening half. Benatti finding an open Downing. Cross. Well out of the way.
Downing's not able to get that across, but there was some great combination play leading up to that. You see Benatti's ability to look up and find her bombing forward to get something out of it. You saw a bit of cheekiness from DB Pridham there to find Benatti. Forbes being able to win that ball back. Just a lot of great combination play amongst that front line, and I think that that front four continues to grow game to game and is making this Ottawa side very difficult to deal with.
Small under a lot of pressure, does well to get it to Regan. AFC Toronto. Trying to stir up something in the added time of this opening half.
There needs to be more off-the-ball movement, and they need to move the ball quicker. I think right now they're taking too much time on the ball, and it's very hard to break down an organized side when you're just slowly passing the ball back and forth. You see Ottawa very comfortable sitting in their shape. That's one thing that they've done well since day one. Sit in their shape, be organized, know their defensive role. So it's just a matter of Toronto being able to break them down and shift them out of their zones, being able to find those through balls.
Pickett keeps it alive somehow. Great individual effort by Victoria Pickett. Ashuri gets a cross in, headed away by Liv Scott. Ashuri still on it. Looking for the corner kick, and they will get one.
Here's another look at Pickett and what she does best. A bit of craftiness from her. She drives end line, is still able to keep this in. A nice little Meg there. Again, Signa, another Meg. But Gibson does well to be able to recover and not allow that pass back.
Referee Sheila Couture making sure the bodies are behaving in the box. Barnett goes right to the penalty spot, headed away. Regan swinging the ball in, looking for Hey G. And Dagenet scoops it up.
Regan does well here to recognize that, but I actually would have loved to see her cut to her left foot and drive forward on that. You know that she's a player that can finish. We've seen her do it from the top of the 18, but she's definitely capable of driving and going 1v1 and finishing that, or potentially getting a cross in more at the top of the 6. Nonetheless, it was a great idea. Both were great options, but I think there could potentially have been something more dangerous coming out of her driving forward.
Audiard clearing that away, and Sheila Couture blows the whistle for the opening half. Just a quick thought on that opening half. A dominant performance from the Rapids so far with a 3-0 lead.
I think the Rapids had a great half. They were able to capitalize on their opportunities, and they continued to press to that final moment. More dangerous opportunities being created through combination play and through a variety of things. I think from Toronto's standpoint, it's just a matter of doing the little things right and securing the ball and being able to play their game. Right now, they're lacking that bit of communication between their lines and sort of that front-footedness to be able to find the clinical edge that's needed to get themselves on the board. So it's just a matter of coming together again and regrouping to all be on the same page.
Well, at York Lions Stadium, the score is the Ottawa Rapid 3, AFC Toronto 0. DB Pridham with 2 goals. She now has 6 on the season. Stella Downing the other, but 45 minutes left to play from York Lions Stadium. You're watching the Northern Super League on CBC Gem. We'll be back with our halftime show.
I think that the reason this league is so important, and I keep saying it, is that representation. And when you see someone who's a little bit more similar to you, it ignites like a fire, because all of a sudden this dream that seemed to be like way out there and something you could never reach now becomes something that's like in the palm of your hand.
I think it's just showing the girls here that they can grow up to something. Like right now, I feel like it's very hard to go abroad because the pathway is not clear for Canadians. And now that there's a path that's clear here, they can really know what they have to do to get to that pro level and do it at home.
I'm super excited about it. Like very grateful for this opportunity. I wasn't sure I would ever get the chance to play at home.
I'm really excited to be home and play in front of the fans and everybody. And I think a domestic league is extremely important, because I believe that iron sharpens iron. I just want to be a player in this league that people can look up to, boys, girls, whatever.
The Northern Super League is going to have so much impact. You now can see what you can be. Before you had to leave our country to go and find other opportunities to go continue your dreams of playing pro, but now from the grassroots all the way up to the pros, you have something to aspire to and something that you can work towards. And this is going to be integral in that pathway of just allowing girls to see that they can go play pro right here in our backyard.
This is the NSL halftime show presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. It is 3-0 for the visiting Ottawa Rapid against AFC Toronto at York Lions Stadium on a beautiful 25-degree day. A little hazy in the sky, but it was all clear for the Ottawa Rapid in this one. Let's take a look at your first half highlights where it got going early for Ottawa. The first minute of the game, Jaleesa Harris finding DB Pridham.
Harris is a player that we spoke about earlier. She's somebody that can hit that ball and do it well. You see Pridham be able to time her run and get that, place it bottom right corner. Like the pro that she is, we know that we've seen her do it time and time again. Then you go into the second goal. A bit of a mistake here. I think that this is where you need Cotillard to be able to step up and communicate that. But you have DB Pridham again making no mistake to be able to read that, intercept this ball, and place it home.
20 minutes into the match, it was a 2-0 lead, a brace by DB Pridham. And then 7 minutes later, wouldn't you know, a great team goal here, and Stella Downing opens her account.
Pridham actually starts us off. She comes off the front. She finds, Forbes out wide, and she gets that ball across so well to Downing, who's bombing forward and does everything to make sure that gets into the back of the net. Here's another angle. You see Forbes get this across, a great ball. And Downing goes down to her knees to make sure this is going in the back of the net. I am not missing this. Such a great moment for her.
So a look at the first half statistics. It was Ottawa dominating that. But overall, aside from the possession, it was mostly even. But Toronto's got some disjointedness in the middle.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that regardless of the possession stat, Ottawa was just more purposeful. And I think that Toronto has... We've seen some great buildup. We've seen some combination play, but it's just not quite coming together. They're not taking care of the ball as well as we've seen them do. And I think that that's something that they need to do better. Find a player like Emma Regan, allow her to be able to really open up the game for you, move the ball quicker, because right now they're slowing it down a little too much. And when you have such an organized Ottawa side, that's what they want. I'm going to keep you in front of me, and I'm going to have no problem doing it. And I think right now they're making it a little too easy for Ottawa to hold this lead. So I'd love to see that front-footedness from Toronto heading into this second half.
Well, grab your drinks and grab your snacks and stay with us for the halftime show. You're watching the Northern Super League on CBC Gem right now. In the Battle of Ontario, it's the Ottawa Rapid with a 3-0 lead over AFC Toronto. Second half still ahead.
For me, wearing this jersey has meant everything. When I started my journey here in Winnipeg, I don't think I could have imagined all the places this game was going to take me. All the people I was going to connect with along the way, and all of these life-changing moments I was going to get to be a part of.
Surely Canada have gonna want it right at the death here.
Battling their way to the bronze.
I think my story, in a way, it's kind of the same as this team's. We were maybe overlooked at first, but through hard work, grit, determination, one step at a time, we started to prove everybody wrong.
It's bronze again for Canada. They have beaten Brazil.
Being out on that field in Canada Red is indescribable. Standing for the anthem, the adrenaline during the game, and the noise from the crowd. These are things I've never taken for granted. So as I stand here now, stepping into my final game for Canada, I think it's just time to take pride in the journey. 3 Olympic medals, 1 world title, and yeah, some pretty epic battles along the way.
Canada game! Canada conquered! Canada gold at Tokyo 2020!
But if you're asking me now, as I'm closing out this journey, what mattered most to us? Well, that's easy. We just wanted to make our people proud.
Well, that was a wonderful feature. Desiree Scott, one of the all-time greats for Team Canada. It's week 7 of the NSL, back from the international break. And what an emotional goodbye it was from Desiree Scott, the 3-time Olympic medalist, the Olympic champion in 2021, and finishing it off in Winnipeg with her 188th cap in that match. Wonderful for her to be able to say goodbye to her friends and family there. In her hometown, which she's represented so proudly. Here's more from Desiree Scott after the match.
Desi, it is 4-1 here. We have beaten Haiti. You have signed 400,000 autographs. How does it feel to experience all this love and tenderness from your team and the team behind the team in the city of Winnipeg?
This day, I couldn't have asked for something better. It has been absolutely incredible. I have felt so much love, so much joy today, and I've really just soaked in all the moments with teammates, with the fans, with the people signing autographs. It's been a pleasure to rep this jersey and an honor, and today was just truly amazing.
There's no playbook for this, right? You've spent over a decade with this team. You've won medals with this team. You've been around the world with this team. You've seen players rise through the ranks to become who they are today. Can you just tell me what it feels like to be on the other side of the journey now?
I think I could just take a sigh of relief, like a breath. I can look at my career and be incredibly proud of the things I've accomplished, the people I've met along the way, the connections, and really just seeing players on this team who joined at early days and now have become veterans and just absolute studs for this team. And the future is so bright. And now I can just be a fan and hype up the team from afar in the stands and just support Canada, and that'll continue for sure.
Well, and I think that was Liv Smith signing some autographs. She passed out the game ball today. Olivia Smith, a national team member for Team Canada, and the next generation of players coming up. And of course, Desiree Scott, great farewell to her. Speaking of players coming up, Kaylee Hunter into the game. We see a couple substitutions for AFC Toronto. Kayla Hansen going to come in as well. And we'll get those confirmed substitutes for you. But Kaylee Hunter back after a couple knocks that kept her out of the lineup. The 17-year-old from Calgary back in, and Kayla Hansen, who's played quite a few minutes for AFC Toronto, the Burnaby, BC native, also drawing into the fold. But that wraps up the NSL halftime show presented by BMO. The second half just ahead of us here. And Toronto looking for a spark, Jess, as we get set for kickoff. And Kaylee Hunter certainly provided for them the last time they played the Ottawa Rapid back on April 27th, scored the first goal in AFC Toronto history.
You're right, Signa. Yeah, I think that Kaylee Hunter is definitely missed when she is not on the pitch. She brings the energy and she brings the intensity, but she's also so great off the ball and being able to recognize which space to utilize and to get on the ball to create opportunities for this side, whether she's the one striking on goal, getting the ball in the box. I definitely think that she's a spark plug for this team. So I'm excited to see her get in this matchup, and I think that she's definitely going to bring the much needed energy that Toronto needs up top to potentially put one on the board.
We'll see what kind of changes in terms of tactics, in terms of mentality this AFC Toronto team will have in the second half. Down 3-0. Ottawa will kick off the second half from York Lions Stadium in Toronto. Pick it back to Cotillard. Adamek back to Gibson. He wanted the switch, but Ashuri read that. No changes to Katrina Peterson's side in this second half. So Hansen in for Hey G.
We're also seeing Pickett drop into that more of that traditional midfield role that we're used to seeing her in, with Hunter coming into the game, being up top with Okoronkwo.
Hansen going back to Cotillard. That's a tough ball to handle. She does well. Whoa! To play out of that.
High risk situation there.
A little bit. DB Pridham out wide to Forbes. Cathro there to clear it away.
AFC Toronto substitution during halftime. Leading team is number 13, Toronto. Entering team is number 11, Kaylee Hunter. Leading team is number 3, Kaylee Hong. Entering
Kaylee Hunter not quite able to make that connection, but we're already seeing her in these few minutes that she's been on the pitch, very active coming off the front to be able to connect with a player like Small or Pickett or whoever is under her in that midfield role. But she's so great at coming off the front. She's great at breaking the line and getting in behind to create opportunities. So already showcasing what she brings to this Toronto team when she is on the pitch.
But Marko Milanovic calls her fearless. On the attack, it's Forbes. Cutting it back, was looking for Downing. Can Downing do something? Well, blocked timely by Sarah Rollins.
Ottawa continuing to bring that fire that's needed in the attack. They don't want to back down.
Okoronkwo. Tried to get the cross in under pressure by Harris, and Dagenet easily picks that up. And out to Chu.
It's in those moments that you need the composure to make the correct decision. When you are down by 3 goals, you want to be able to make the most of every opportunity you're given. She does very well there, Okoronkwo, to take her space, go 1v1, but just makes a poor decision to be able to get that ball in. Doesn't come off her foot quite as well as she would have liked. Ashuri's not able to get there. It goes straight to the goalkeeper.
Full switch in play from Ottawa. Chu with some time. Closed down by Small. Oh, nice step by Chu. Chu still has it. Look at that curling shot. Oh, it's off the post. That was a huge play by Chu.
That was such a great individual effort from her. We've seen Chu become alive in this attacking third for Ottawa in each game, and I think that right there shows her quality. She recognizes that she has a bit of time and space, shows her shiftiness, drives inside and tries this. You see the little bend there, the little curve, but it goes off of the post, luckily for Toronto. Here's another look at it, some quick little step overs, cuts inside, continues to go, and is able to hit that post. If that was over just, I would say, a couple more inches, that was going in the back of the net.
Well, 5 minutes into the second half, and it was nearly 4-0 for Ottawa. Chu now on the corner. Not cleared away. Cody Yard will pick that up off the deflection.
You're seeing the numbers back for Toronto. They're not wanting to allow Ottawa to get any shot off. And Julia Bonatti is a player that I've actually played against, and I think that she's somebody that you cannot give time and space to. She can strike from distance, and she can do it very well. We've seen what she can do with a bit of cheekiness to her game and the outside of the foot goal that she scored against Vancouver. But it's her ability to strike from distance that also makes her very dangerous, and her willingness to get forward that Toronto has to be aware of.
Look at Haiju Chu from Busan, Korea, picking up a yellow card. Chu fresh off of playing for Korea against Colombia on June 2nd. Her 55th cap for country. Harris looking for that through ball forward, and Cody Yard had to come off her line. Again, dangerous in the back.
I think the fact that we're seeing Coach Milanovic make a change in his back line going into the second half says everything that we need to know. He is not certain of who is the best fit there. It's not often you're seeing that change unless there's an injury, and I don't believe that Heiji had an injury. It just wasn't a great first half for her, and I think overall as a defensive unit, they were struggling a bit in that first half. Ottawa did a very good job at overloading them and causing a lot of issues.
Hansen looking forward. Harris heads that back in, right to Chu. Just over the foot of Desiree Scott. Pickett moving forward. Couldn't get by Downing. Small. Small winning the ball back. Okoronkwo going one-on-one against Harris. Harris gets the toe in there, and we will see the corner kick as the winds swirl around York Lions Stadium. Harris on loan from the Houston Dash. I think 2 seasons in the NWSL, really been one of the top center backs in the league this year.
And a big presence for this Ottawa side on both sides of the ball. She was able to contribute. You saw it to that first goal for Pridham, but also in her last matchup against Montreal, she was fantastic in being able to recognize when those long balls were on and being able to execute them as well.
Barnett. Ball headed away from danger. Barnett still here. Looking inside. Oh, bounced. Looking for Okoronkwo. Just need to lay in just a little bit lighter.
Sometimes there's an easier pass, Signa. I think you saw Emma Regan there calling for it. She was wide open. If she had found Regan's feet instead of trying that long ball into Okoronkwo, there's potentially something coming off of that. Regan being able to turn and strike from that top of the 18. We've seen her do it. We've seen her hit the back of the net doing so. So it would have been probably the better option to play that to Regan's feet.
Regan and Small working in combination. Barnett, the cross in. Headed away by Scott. That'll be a corner kick for AFC Toronto. So some zone time in this offensive third for AFC Toronto. We'll see if they can make something out of this corner kick.
This is where you need to see the willingness and the grit to put your body on the ball, not allow Ottawa to clear this. And if they do, winning that first and second ball time and time again to be able to put them under pressure.
Regan driving the ball in, looking for Okoronkwo. The header just mistimed. And out for a throw-in. Hunter and Ashuri combining. Hunter keeping it alive. Scooping it over top. That's nice. To Small. Okoronkwo gets a touch on it, but right into the arms of Dagenet. But that just shows you just the bit of skill that AFC Toronto has, and this game, they're still looking for that first goal, but sniffing.
It shows how lethal Kaylee Hunter is and what she can do, and not only getting herself on the board, but being able to create the build-up play that gets you there. And you see Okoronkwo, she does well to get there and get a foot on it. Here's another look at it, a bit of combination play here between Ashuri and Hunter. Hunter showing her craftiness and being able to do that little chip into Small, who does well to find Okoronkwo's feet, but Okoronkwo isn't able to get that off because of the great defending from Liv Scott.
Adamek. All the way back to Dagenet. Again, one of 2 changes in the lineup for Ottawa today from their last match. Kaylee Hunter, a good battle. The other change, Mina Lee, who was the goal scorer the last time these 2 teams met, unavailable today. Given away by Chu. Okoronkwo plays it into Small, turns, Harris manages to keep her out of trouble, and Desiree Scott, that timely tackle as she's so known for. Pridham turns, gets it up the pitch a bit, right to Sarah Rollins.
We're seeing that sharpness and that awareness that Coach Peterson wanted from her team. She mentioned that last time they weren't too sharp defensively, and it was a little too easy for Toronto at times, and we're seeing them here, numbers constantly aware of where the Toronto players are and not giving them enough time and space to get a shot off or get a turn in to create anything dangerous.
Hunter. Cathro, the cross in, was looking for Okoronkwo, but Harris heads it away.
Ottawa exemplifying some good patience here, just keeping the ball.
Foul called on Rollins. 20-year-old who grew up in the North Toronto Nitros program. Harris over top, looking for a running Forbes, and just wide. Another opportunity for Ottawa to bury this game.
Here's another look at it. Again, Harris with that right foot, dropping it directly at where Forbes is able to time her run. She just can't quite get that on frame, but you see Regan there calling for the offside. I do think that she was right in that call. It looks like Forbes might have mistimed her run slightly. Very close, but it is a good decision for her to make that run and attempt to go on goal, because we do know that Harris's delivery has not let her down.
Barnett. Regan back to her teammate from Burnaby, her mini teammate, given away by Rollins. DB Pridham finds the back of the net. It's a hat trick for DB, and she tips the hat. 4-0 for the Ottawa Rapid. Another miscue from AFC Toronto. And DB Pridham, who's running away right now with the Golden Boot race, 7 goals on the season.
This once again comes down to that decision making in the back line. You have to get rid of the ball quicker. There's no way that Rollins thinks she has that much time and space when you have a player like Pridham who's constantly ready to pounce. Here's another look at it. You see Hansen play Rollins back, thinking she has so much time and space, and Pridham just creeps up slowly, adds a bit of physicality, puts her under pressure, and she coughs the ball up straight to Forbes. Another look here. This is where the ball should have been released. Should have been released earlier. Pridham does so well to put that pressure. Forbes with a bit of cheekiness with the outside of her foot, and Pridham, you know, putting that home. We've seen her do it the 3rd time this game. She's somebody that you cannot give any opportunity to, because she will finish it. She's found that clinical edge. She is absolutely on every single game. So I think they have to be way more aware of that, and the decision making has to be much better. The passing has to be more precise, specifically out of that back line for Toronto.
Foul called on Forbes. So 4-0 lead, the largest lead we've had this season in the Northern Super League, the inaugural year of the NSL. Whether it stays that way, we shall see. Melissa Dagenet, so far a clean sheet for the Ottawa Rapid in her first start of the season. Ball bounces. Pridham tried to head it by Rollins, manages to get it through and draws a foul off Downing.
With the intensity that we're seeing from this Ottawa side in their defensive game, you would think that they're the ones that are down 4-0. You see their Downing continuing to put that 100% effort in, and that's what you love to see. It's just not often that when you see a team with this lead, that they continue that intensity and that pressing on the back line to continue to look for more goals.
Ottawa preparing substitutions. With this game in hand, 4-0. DB Pridham looking for more. Going 1v1 against Rollins. Rollins manages to turn. And Pridham's on a card. She has to watch that jersey tug there. Small laying the ball forward for Barnett, who's got time and space. Can Toronto get one back? Barnett. The cut back. Forbes manages to come back and track. Benatti looking to lay off to Forbes, but Forbes was tired from tracking back, so we got some substitutions into the match. DB Pridham coming out of the game, a hat trick for the Ottawa Rapid star striker. Nicola Golan coming into the match. And Stella Downing, also a goal scorer in today's match, coming out for Florence Belzile. Nicola Golan, a Toronto native. Grew up in the North Toronto system. Actually, Coach Marco said he's known her since she was, 6 or 7 years old. And here she is playing professional for the other team, Ottawa Rapid. Ball bounced in. And Dagenet had to be on her toes just in case. And a substitution coming in and waiting a long time to come into the match is Jade Kovacevic, the first ever signing in NSL history. We've been waiting 560 minutes to see her first time in the Northern Super League. She comes into the match for Esther Okoronkwo. Kovacevic has been battling injury since the beginning of the season, had a protective walking boot on for quite a time, but now ready to play, and her first touch of the NSL. Hunter looking for goal. Dagenet had to make a save there.
Kaylee Hunter once again coming alive and igniting this attack for Toronto. She shows her skill here, cuts inside, continues to drive across and strikes this. This is a nice save by Dagenet as well, but this is a great strike, and this is what Toronto needs more of, that bravery and that willingness to drive forward and try it.
Barnett will reset here. Barnett looking for the far post. Cathro was there. But that'll go out for a goal kick. Kovacevic, as we mentioned, the first ever NSL signing for AFC Toronto in the league. League One's all-time leading goal scorer. 5 times a Golden Boot winner. We'll see if that can create a spark in her first action of the season.
She brings a lot of experience. I've played against Jada a couple times, and she's a player that knows exactly where to be. She finds her space as well, but she also has that athleticism to threaten in behind and does so well to put herself in the spot to be able to get the ball in the back of the net.
Nikki Small in the right spot, and nearly a connection there in front.
Another look here. Nikki Small is a player that loves to drive end line. She's so active for this team on the attack. She continues to go and use her ability, uses some physicality and gets that ball across. Hunter's just not able to quite connect with it well enough to get it on frame, but that is what they need. They need to continue to light that fire under them. We're seeing Small, we're seeing Hunter bring a bit of that energy. I would love to see it from everybody else now. Just continue to bring it forward, have that front-footed mentality, and continue to go, go, go.
Rollins gets on the right side of the defender, finds Small. Oh, is looking for Kovacevic, but was going to be offside anyway. I feel like that Nikki Small driving the touchline is like a move. Like it should be named after her by this point in time.
Very true. She does it very well.
Natty finding Harris, patiently takes the extra touch. Finding Belzile. Adamek looking for Belzile, and that is offside. Late flag. If you're just joining us, you're watching the Northern Super League presented by BMO, the official bank of the NSL. 20 minutes left to play in this match. A 4-0 lead for the Ottawa Rapid on account of a hat trick from DB Pridham. And the goal from Stella Downing.
It's quite a stat to walk away with. First ever NSL hat trick.
Well, I think if you were to put money down on who that might be, DB Pridham coming into this match with 4 goals on the season. Just a true poacher if there was one. Gibson down. That's not good news for Ottawa. While we have this injury break, we just wanted to thank all the first responders out west in Manitoba and Saskatchewan dealing with all the wildfires in this country. If you do have a chance to donate, you can scan the QR code on your screen or go to redcross.ca. Those wildfires, and you're seeing the effects of it across the country with air quality. But right now, people are losing a lot in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. So if you have an opportunity, just QR code on the screen or redcross.ca. Gibson is up, walking on her own esteem, so that's good news for the Ottawa Rapid. Former Swedish Youth International. So a hydration break here, brought to you by Powerade. 25-degree day at York Lions Stadium. The fans still having a good time despite their team down 4-0. Melissa Dagenet, so far, clean sheet in her first action of the season.
This game just showcases how unpredictable this league really is. I don't think either of us were coming into this game thinking that it was going to be 4-0.
They got it added early. 3-0 lead, 27 minutes into the match. A goal by Pridham in the first minute. got things started. And Ottawa will restart. Shuri on the ball. Hansen to Rollins in pursuit.
Kovacevic coming from that offside position to try to get that ball.
The other assistant, Melissa Snedden from Oakville, Ontario. Another pathway for these. She's an ex-soccer player at Nipissing University, so another opportunity for players to continue their careers in the sport in different ways. Rollins, the pass off. Gollin playing it over top. Belzil, the two substitutes. Finding Chu. Gollin showing her skill, hits the side netting.
Rollins has to be careful here. We're seeing her give up the ball time and time again, but not only that, she is playing a bit more of that physical game in the sense of you're seeing her grab the jersey, grabbing the arms, and in and around the 18, you have to be careful, specifically when you are already down 4-0. There has to be a bit more of a smart approach to that and when to foul and when to have that physicality on those forwards for Ottawa.
So Susanna Holland coming into the match for Kayla Adamak. And Joanna Friedland entering the match for Ellen Gibson. Susanna Holland, one of the leaders on this team from Asker, Norway. Just a suburb of Oslo.
Ottawa Rapids substitution in the 75th minute. Leading the game is number 3, Kayla Adamek. Entering the game
Some good work there by Cathro to keep that and win a throw-in.
is number 8, Ellen Gibson. Entering the game is number 7, Joanne Friedland.
Scott playing the ball forward. Scott grew up just down the road in Aurora, Ontario. Hunter back to Hansen. And the pass off the mark was looking for a Shuri.
We saw it a bit in the first half too. It's the little things that Toronto really has to clean up, and in making a pass like that from Hansen, being able to find feet, keep it on the ground so that you're able to create something out of it. Otherwise, I feel that they're just digging themselves into a deeper hole, and it's very difficult to find momentum when there's really no rhythm.
Friedland. Small and Hunter working together. Tackled by Scott. And moved forward by Friedland. Belzil. Tried to play the give and go with Forbes. Belzil sliding across for goal, and she was looking for goal, but a great tackle and timely one at that.
You're also seeing the depth here that Ottawa does have. You know, I think that as the season progresses, specifically, they have 3 games in 10 days coming up. And Coach Peterson mentioned wanting to really look into that depth pool and showcase what they have. And I think these are big moments for these players. You're seeing Golan and Belzil be able to step up and create dangerous opportunities. And I think that utilizing that depth is huge, because as these games continue, when you don't have a Pritam on, or fatigue kicks in, or whatever it may be as the season continues, you need to be able to look to these players to be able to step up and still make things happen. And you're seeing it just here. They're still able to keep that pace up and keep the dangerous opportunities coming and being created, which is really awesome to see from this Ottawa side.
Shoot to Belzile. Touch just a bit off, but not out of danger yet. Fridland looking for goal. Manages to win a corner kick. Melanie Forbes on the corner. Is there more from Ottawa? Headed away. Colin. Chu over top. Lots of numbers, but offside.
I think Melanie Forbes is another player that has done well to make a case for herself to see that starting 11 spot. We've seen her start quite a few of these games. There's a couple she didn't start in, but I think when she gets her minutes, you see her bring the intensity and continuously bomb up and down the field. But she does the work defensively as well and brings that ruthlessness that this Ottawa side has been finding so much success in, being able to get the delivery in the box, and some great delivery at that, not just aimlessly kicking the ball and hoping that someone gets there. She also does well to crash the box. So I think that this is a player that we're seeing grow, and she's been having a great season so far.
Coach Peterson saying of Forbes, just a solid player in her one-on-one battles, not afraid to track back. She's got a lot of speed, both feet, and a couple of assists on the season. I think she might be up to 3. And that's a foul on Chu.
There's no denying that one.
And that card is for not giving automatically 10 yards right away. So delaying the start of the game. So Nicola Golan going in the books for that. The foul on Chu. Waiting for Sheila Couture to measure out the 10 yards. Colby Barnett on the ball. AFC Toronto wanting something here. Looking for the header. It's not out of the box yet. Belzile will clear.
It's a great delivery in by Barnett. Potentially could have gone a little bit further to the back of the back of the 6 there to get more numbers on the ball, but that was a great ball in by her, and we've seen the quality that she has in this left foot delivery. It's been dangerous for Toronto during the run of play as well as on the set pieces.
A yellow card has been issued to Ottawa Rapid.
Chu is coming out of the game.
Number 15, Nicolette Golan.
And the substitution. It is Sonia. So Sonia Okobi-Oki, her first time of the season, the 31-year-old from Nigeria. 75 caps for country for Okobi-Oki.
Ottawa Rapid substitution.
And 8 months postpartum from giving birth to her son Nathan back in September. So really they've been working her, getting her back into game fitness, and her first action of the season today. Sonia with her first touch. Scott and Scott combining. Catherine's pass picked off. That's Forbes. And slipping was Belzil. Still alive. Fridland.
You're seeing Mel Forbes there again, stepping in and reading that play and not able to connect that pass, as there was a bit of a slip there. But I think that again shows what she brings to the side and her ability to read the game and create opportunities in transitional moments as well as just in the regular run of play.
Ashuri. Hunter. Showing that great footwork. That quickness. Hunter, the cross in. Cleared away.
Hunter continues to put on display what she's capable of and why she has accomplished as much as she has at such a young age. Obviously a youth international player. She's so capable on and off the ball, but you see that creativity. She always wants the ball. She plays the give and go. She throws in some good moves there and she gets the delivery across. There just isn't numbers in the box, and I think that's where that hunger has to come in from Toronto. More numbers forward, getting in the box when there is crosses coming in.
Kobioki, back to Scott. Five minutes and added time still to come in this match. AFC Toronto trailing 4-0. Benatti. Looked for a strike. Sierra Cotillard spilled it. And Forbes followed up, but Cotillard able to control that.
It seems there's still too much time and space for Ottawa to be able to control this ball with no pressure. I'm not sure if it's fatigue, if it's a bit of the heat that's starting to kick in as this season continues. That's going to be something that these players have to grow into. It's a bit of a shock at first, but I think that there's not enough willingness to go into that tackle right now from Toronto. They're allowing Ottawa to play across the face of their goal so easily. They're able to play across the midfield and open up the game. Benatti striking from distance. There's just too much time and space, not that willingness to step or recognition of when to stay and hold structure. Just looks a little disconnected, I would say, overall.
Benatti has come to the sidelines, cramping up a little bit. We'll have a fair amount of added time. And a late foul on Golan. Toronto playing it quickly. Bounced off the shin of Small. Scott. Rebuild from Dagenet. All Ottawa Rapid today at York Lions Stadium. Golan. Was looking for the through ball. It nearly squeaked through. Was looking for Forbes. Fridland. Across Forbes' body, but she gives chase and earns a corner kick. So Ottawa just keeps coming, Jess.
Yeah, Golan is a player too that we haven't seen too much of her as of yet, but just there it shows and displays what she's capable of when you give her time and space. And even if you don't give her much of it, we saw a bit of that craftiness coming from her and her recognition to play that early ball in. There wasn't enough behind it to be able for it to get past Toronto's back line, but the idea was there, and if that comes off, that's a dangerous opportunity. Coach Milanovic also recognizes that Golan is a player that if you do give her that time and space and she gets going, she can make things happen.
A towering corner kick. Holland still on it. Benatti. Another ball high in the box. All the way back to Dagenet. Ottawa, after this match, will make their way right to Halifax for their next match on Tuesday night before returning home next Saturday. Ooh. Barnett seemed to be okay there on the ground. Hunter was looking for Kovacevic.
I think the mentality that this Ottawa side has right now is so important in helping them continue to stride forward as the season continues. Having the mentality to be able to hold that 4-0 lead and keep the mentality to continue going forward, bringing the intensity. We're seeing that to this final minute. They're not backing down. They're continuing to apply the defensive pressure that's needed. Offensively, they're patient, they're composed, but they're picking their moments to go. And I think that is so important. Oftentimes when a team is up by 4 goals, by 3 goals, sometimes even 2, you get yourself into trouble because you shift off. And you think, it's over, we won this, but you saw them not allow Toronto back into this game.
Nikki Small coming out of the match. Here's a Katembo heading in for the final 2 minutes of added time. On a tough day at the pitch for AFC Toronto.
Today is 2,482. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon for the best fans in the league.
Regan looking forward. Has a running Hunter. Read by Harris. Hunter had that added time goal the last time these two teams played. Bouillard had to come out of her box to clear that away. Almost to time here. Might just come into play, and that might be all. We'll see what Sheila Couture says. Scott. And indeed, that is the game. Ottawa Rapid FC on the road, a commanding 4-0 victory over AFC Toronto. Katrina Peterson's side start this 3 games in 8 days with a victory right out of the international break. But an emphatic win for Ottawa Rapid FC, and those 3 goals from DB Pridham the difference.
This is a well-deserved win by them. I think that they brought the mentality from the first minute. They were able to capitalize on their opportunities. They were very efficient in creating that variety of the attack that we've seen them do time and time again. So I think that this Ottawa side came out, they were ready today, and they capitalized on everything. From Toronto's standpoint, there was some bright moments where you were seeing them create some good combination play, Kaylee Hunter specifically being a big bright spot for them, but just it wasn't coming together, and there was too many mishaps coming out of that back three. I think they really need to settle the back three and who the best combination is there. More preciseness coming. The decision making needs to be quicker. Just a bit of disconnectedness throughout the entirety of the team. So not their best matchup, a bit of a frustrating one for them considering they came off of such a great win against Montreal.
Well, there was the star of the match, D.B. Pridham. 3 goals today. Look at their final stats and anything in particular. You just kind of broke down the game for us there, Jess, but a frustrating one for AFC Toronto, but a deserving win for Ottawa.
Yeah, you do see that Toronto did get off 9 shots. Only 3 of them were on target. They weren't able to have the efficiency and the clinical finishing edge that was needed, but the possession stands out. I think that the difference was it wasn't just mindless possession where Ottawa was playing it amongst the back line. They were very much creating dangerous opportunities time and time again in the attack, whether that was a long ball from Harris or it was combination play through Scott and Gibson and Benatti getting involved, and D.B. Pridham obviously showing what she's capable of, being able to get that hat trick, first ever NSL hat trick. But overall, I would just say that this is a very well-deserved win and a bit frustrating from Toronto's side. They need to regroup and head into that next one.
Let's look at the standings. The Ottawa Rapid, well, we mentioned all the parity. 5 of 6 teams within 3 points of each other at kickoff today. And Ottawa Rapid launched themselves into a 4-way tie for first place. 11 points. As for the top scorers, D.B. Pridham running away right now, anyway, with the Golden Boot race in the league. Collie Johnson of the Calgary Wild and Esther Okoronkwo, of course, with 3 goals apiece. But D.B. Pridham just showing that anytime, any place, she's ready to convert. There is D.B. Pridham right in the middle there. Ottawa Rapids celebrating before they hit the road for their next match Tuesday night against Halifax. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage today of the Northern Super League, presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. For Jess Lisi, myself, Signa Butler, and our entire crew, thanks for joining us today on CBC Gem for this 4-0 match, the Ottawa Rapid over AFC Toronto.